My prayers go out to the Rutgers player, Eric LeGrand, and his family, paralyzed from playing the game of football. How often does this happen? How many times do some of these guys get concussions and later in life end up homeless because they can't deal with society because of that brain damage? I look at my son, my oldest one, all three of them play football, but next year my son goes into high school. Big kid, loves the game, real important to him. What's the chances of him getting a concussion? And they say once they've got one, they shouldn't be playing football anymore. They get brain damage from one, and it might take a while just to recover from that. So, what happens? What does a responsible parent do if, and which God help it isn't going to happen? But what happens if my oldest gets a concussion, or any of them as they grow older and get into high school football, where things are tougher, they're harder, kids are bigger, it happens, it just keeps going. It starts in now elementary school, and you go to lower school, middle school football, high school football. All my boys have the chance or take the risk of paralyzing themselves, becoming paralyzed. So I think, yeah, I think if my son gets a concussion, that's the end of his football career. I'd much rather see him on the sidelines, um, in good mental health, than I would having him continue to play a very dangerous sport, which I love. I love football. As the director of our foundation, the Number 12 Foundation, we bring recovery programs to detox centers, hospitals, prisons, jails, really bridging gaps between people that suffer from the disease and long-lasting recovery. I look at my kids, who's got the gene? We do know that this disease is genetic. So what happens if one of my kids pick up a beer? Is it a zero tolerance, the same way I believe I should behave as a responsible parent in football? And the chance of paralyzation. What do I do when I find out that he's had a beer or multiple beers? Is it zero tolerance, or do I let him just be a kid and go through that period of time? But hopefully, some kids stay alcoholics and addicts from beginning to move into that lifestyle. Others can go back out. They may be heavy drinkers in college, and they go back out to society, stop that kind of behavior, and do fine. But what do I do with my kids? How much should I worry about this issue of becoming either physically damaged or their disease, of possibility of the disease of alcoholism and addiction affecting them? These are questions I have to deal with as a parent. I guess where I would go and where I would lean is the safest thing for my boys. I love standing at the sidelines and watching them play football or baseball or lacrosse, whatever sport they're in, because it's so neat as a parent to see that happen. And what am I willing to do? What are my kids willing to do to be able to go on in life and have a very successful life as a human being in today's society? I don't know.